Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you today? Nice to have you. I'm Dr. Shirley. This is the Dr. Shirley Show, where we focus on all things health and wellness from a natural standpoint. My belief is that the body wants to be healthy, wants to have good energy at night, sleep real well. I believe there are natural cures for most things. And I believe we can take our health into our own hands and to learn and to take some responsibility. I'm very big on emergency medicine, as you may have heard me say. I believe in X-rays and MRIs, when we need to get to the bottom of things, for things like energy or sleep or acne, or for people that, maybe having upset bowels, whatever that is. There's so many different things that you can do, to create the health within your body. Now, does this happen overnight? No, it doesn't. Most herbal programs are going to take a little bit of time. I used to work with clients one-on-one. Good morning, Rich. Hi, Angela. Nice to see you. And when I worked with clients one-on-one, I would get most people healthy and balanced really in about a 60-day period of time, okay? So this isn't all that long. When I had people that had very challenging, it might be a little bit, more like 90 days. So there is a commitment, there is some discipline involved in natural health. I suggest you work, with a professional, whether that's a holistic health coach or whether that's a, naturopath, someone in your area, myself as well too. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Oh, hey, Prakash, nice to see you. Hey, Gretchen, good morning, good morning. So today we're going to talk about, I'm just going to call this a little bit of a quick fix, or maybe a little bit of a jump start, okay? And so this is a class I taught a while ago. It's called 8 Ways to Whittle Your Waist, in a 1 week period of time. And it's a little bit catchy, but sometimes people just need a jump start, right? Does anyone just want to be like, oh yes, I'd like to learn, I'd like to lose 5 pounds. I would like to learn, lose 8 pounds, and then I would really just get on my way. And I agree, because when we start to feel better, and also admit it, most of us have had failures before in the past, right? I talk to people all the time like, oh my gosh, I did this program or that program, and I'd be successful, but then I gained gained the weight back. And the whole idea is to create a lifestyle and environment within your body so your body stays within a certain weight. Now, when we're overweight, obviously that doesn't feel good emotionally, doesn't feel good physically. And even just to give you an idea with your knees, for every pound you're overweight, it puts 4 pounds of pressure on your knees. So that's an awful lot, it's like a structural house and you're up in the Adirondacks in upstate New York and you got too much snow on the frame, it's not going to do too well. So think about it along those ways. So my background is as a doctor of naturopathy. I've been helping people get well for over 30 years now. I'm a certified herbalist, and I love to talk about herbs and the power of herbs. Some herbs help to activate, some help to calm down, some herbs help to soothe, some herbs help to, to clear out the body. So they all have different properties. I teach a certified herbalist class for those that are interested in, learning, the real bottom core of all this. But just know that herbs, do wonderful, wonderful work, within the body. And it's very exciting because, all of this is from nature. Same thing like good food and clean environment. All these things go into helping us to feel better, don't they? And one step at a time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just, get started on something and start to make some changes. Okay. Good morning, Victor. Good morning, Mary. Nice to see you. And I can't pronounce your name, but I'm going to say Krishnaparapan, and that sounds like a beautiful name. So thank you for joining us. So this is all about, doing some, discipline for a 1 week period of time. So during this 1 week, let's say, okay, I'm going to take, 7 days, and I want to see if I can lose 5, 6, or 7 pounds. Oh, from Nepal. Very nice. I was in northern India back in November, and I bought some beautiful things from Nepal. So I appreciate that. Beautiful, beautiful country. So this first week, we're going to get off of the sugar. Okay. Sugar is an addiction. Sugar makes you fat. Fat doesn't make you fat, okay? Eggs aren't going to make you fat. Olive oil isn't going to make you fat. Even butter is not going to make you fat, okay? These are good, real, and whole foods, okay? But the sugar is what's dangerous. They've said that sugar can even be more addictive, than cocaine in some regards. And the thing is, it gets in our system, and we want more, and we want more. And then maybe we end up like with a candida situation, and candida's yeast. I talked about that in a whole class. But then you actually have like these little critters that want to eat more, but you've just got to stop. Last year, it was very exciting. I did a couple of TV shows last year, and I did a big one down in Washington. It was 1 million people in the audience, and I wasn't too nervous, but the host was kind of interested. And she said to me, well, do you have a cleanse for sugar? I'm like, no. And she goes, well, what do I do? I go, stop eating it. It's really just that simple. Yes, this is where the discipline comes in. You're not going to get anything in life, whether that's a business or going on a trip or to losing the weight. Any of these things require self-discipline. discipline. And I think that that's a lot of what maybe some of us are lacking. So have the discipline. So you're going to go a whole week and you're not going to have any sugar. Now this also means bread. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's whole wheat bread or pumpernickel bread or white wonder bread. You're going to just skip off on the bread. You're going to skip off on the pastas. All right. Now I love pasta, and again, when you get your body to where you want it to be, that's fine. You don't make a diet of it every day or every night. There's a reason. I came from an Italian family. I'm not Italian myself, but I have a very high regard for the the beauty of Italians and pasta. And when I was married previously, my husband's family would have pasta on Sunday afternoon at 2:00, and it was a lovely tradition. But notice that main meal's at 2. It's not at 10 o'clock at night, right? It makes a big difference. So no sugar, no breads, no rice, and again, for the 7 days. You're also going to lay off the fruits. Now, fruits, definitely have their value, but oh my goodness, you start slugging down some orange juice, that your body isn't going to be able to use the glycogen. It's not going to be able to use the sugar, and it gets stored as fat. Okay, that's the truth. So whether you're having orange juice or whether you're having, grapefruit or anything, all these extra, sugars are going to be stored as fat. So again, for this period of time, just get rid of the sugars, get rid of the juices. And hey, good morning, Casey. How are you? Hi, Linda. Nice to see you all. And then the other thing that you're going to give up for the week is going to be alcohol. Okay. And, I used to drink a lot more than I do right now. It's interesting, since I started meditating and doing yoga, I drink, maybe 1 or 2 days a week. And when I was in India, I didn't drink for 5 weeks. I'm like, oh, I can do this. But it's kind of interesting, and it gives your whole body, a rest. It really does. But I mean, alcohol, can be hard on your skin. It can be hard on your kidneys. It can be hard on your liver, of course. But it also can be high, in sugars, and it doesn't process very well. And so we can actually feel like a little more pinch and inch, or a little more, fatty around the belly, even after one night of drinking. So give this up for a 1 week period of time. This will allow the body to actually burn fat as an energy source when we give up the sugars and all of that, okay? You want to get in about 20 grams of fiber. Fiber is super important. It's kind of a blasé subject, and maybe it's not real sexy, but fiber is the sweep. Especially in any cleanse that you take, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But if you're doing a cleanse that does not include a fiber drink or pill or something or other, you're going to have a problem, because when you pull these toxins out of the body, they've got to be able to be eliminated. And the best thing is that the fiber actually encapsulates around the toxin and pulls it out, so you don't have all of those cleansing systems. I mean, sometimes people will say, oh my gosh, I'm cleansing, I'm sick, I'm nauseous, blah, blah, blah. It shouldn't be like that, all right? But if there's a lot of junk out there, a lot of good things, but there's also a lot of junk out there. So keep your fiber up there, and that fiber can come mostly in the form of vegetables when you're doing this. And they have shown studies that when you get up to 25-30 grams of fiber per day, you're really in a situation where your bowels are nice and cleansed. Remember, we talked about that disease thrives in the bowel, but this is going to continue to whisk that out. Your bowels are going to be regular. We talked about this yesterday. You can hold 5 to 20 pounds in your bowel. So this fiber is going to help to keep things moving and keep it going along. So stay with your meats, your proteins. Eggs are good food. I said this yesterday. I'm going to talk about cholesterol tomorrow, but I really don't know what happened where we somehow were brainwashed to think that a very good egg that's been farm raised or grass fed or out in the sunshine is somehow not as good as some eggs that are in a carton, right? Those egg beaters. So we got additives, dyes, and all this junk for these fake eggs. So let's have that instead of a real egg, and that's somehow healthier. You can start to see how incongruent some of this is, and kind of what we've been led to believe. So eggs are a good food. I used to eat about 5 or 10 a week. I probably just eat a couple now, just because my taste changed over the years. Now let's talk about activity. Okay, you need to be active if you want to be fit. You need to be active if you want to lose weight. You need to be active if you want to strengthen your heart and reduce your blood pressure. And also to clear those cobwebs in your mind. I remember years ago I was mad or sad about something, and being on my treadmill and kind of stomping away, and even crying just a little bit. And by the end of half an hour, 40 minutes, it's like, you feel better. It doesn't change what's going on in your life. It changes your perspective. And I think most of you will agree that life really is perspective. Okay, so you need to get yourself moving. The reality is, if you're exercising 3 days a week, you're only maintaining where you are right now. Okay, so some of you are doing less than that. Some of you maybe more. 3 times a week is very good for heart, very good for blood pressure, circulation, lymphatic flow, but it's not going to be enough to get the inches off, and it's not going to be enough to get at the fat. You really got to bump that up to 4 to 5 days a week if you want to see results. So again, during this 1 week period of time, make a commitment to get activity for 5 days as a minimum. If you can do 6, that's even better. So this means some kind of movement. Maybe you like to go to Zumba. Maybe you want to do some fast walking. Maybe you have a treadmill and you like that, if you're on a treadmill and you just pop that up 15 degrees, you know how they have a little bit of an incline, you're going to find you burn, studies show up to 55% more calories just by putting a little bit of incline, in there. Maybe you like to play racquetball up here in the Northeast. It's getting, in North America, it's getting very nice. Maybe you want to get out on your bike, something along those lines. I love yoga, very much. I feel that it's toned and shaped my body. Maybe you like to do weight training. Does weight training help you lose weight? Actually, when you tone and strengthen your muscles, they require more calories than an untoned muscle. So that's why you see people that are in shape and are strong and are fit and they're able to keep it there a lot easier because they have this toned muscle. And that doesn't mean you're going to grow some big ones. Many years ago, I was competed in a bodybuilding competition in a lightweight division here in upstate New York, and I did that more for the discipline. And I came in first place in my weight category, and but it was more about, can I do this? And I've always been that kind of a person. And I found that when I adopted that lifestyle, it was only for about 4 months that that I did it. I never want to do it again. But that the muscle burned more fat, and that's how you get lean. Okay, that's how you get yourself leaner. You want to make sure that we're going to talk about water, but there's certain times to hydrate, after exercise. But during exercise, like yoga, it's not a good idea to put cool water in, because you're letting your body heat up, you're letting your systems warm up, you're helping to detoxify, and we put cold water in on that, it slows the whole body process down, all right? And you're also, too, when you're eating your meals, you don't want to have water with your meals, okay? It's not a good idea. It dilutes your enzymes. We'll talk about that another day. Your enzymes help to break down your food. Lipase breaks down your fat, protease breaks down your proteins, amylase breaks down your starches. So if you dilute those too much, your food won't get broken down correctly. So have your water before, preferably between your meals, and also warm water is going to be better for you. Not warm, but not icy cold, okay? But more of a room temperature water is better for you. Let's say you just had a hamburger. Here's some French fries, so you've got that saturated fat, right? That fat that can be like lard and hard. And, so you take this hamburger, into your body. If you throw cold water right on top of that, hi, Lori, good morning, and you throw cold water on that, it's going to help to solidify that. And that's where the dangers come in, from some of that fat. All right, so there's going to be that 4 to 5 days a week, over a 1 week period of time. You have heard me talk about cleansing. I'll probably talk about this. It kind of fits into most every, topic we talk about. But if you do a 1 week cleanse along with this, and it doesn't have to be a 2 week cleanse, it doesn't have to be a 30-day cleanse, it doesn't have to be a 6 month cleanse, but if you do take a whole week and you start to clean out your liver, because the liver is the organ that's going to metabolize your fats. Remember that. You clean out your colon, and from yesterday we learned we can hold 5 to 20 pounds of debris, in our colon. So you start to get that out. When our liver is functioning better, it's going to burn more fat. That's our fat burning, our cholesterol burning organ. We're going to lose the debris that's been built up in there, and then if we're on a specific type of a cleanse, we can actually start to bring toxins out of our body fat. Our body will not need to have as much fat in the body if we get the toxins out. Okay. Makes sense? So that's number 3. Oh, hey, Ruth, nice to see you. Hey, Lori again, and Caesar, nice to see you. I would also add in, for this 1 week period of time, 1 day of intermittent fasting, okay? You can learn about that. It was one of the first videos I did. You can find my videos on my Facebook page. This one is also on YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel, so you can just go to YouTube and put in, Shirley Picaretto or Dr. Shirley, and it'll come up. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to get these, or you can go there and look at them. It really doesn't matter, whatever's easier for you. But understand intermittent fasting, that when we take food out, and we can just fast sometimes for even 15, 16 hours. And that might be as simple as eating at 8 in the morning and then finishing up eating at 3 in the afternoon and then not eating the next day to 8 in the morning. And what happens is our body uses body fat, our cells get to relax, our organs get to relax, our thinking becomes a lot clearer. I highly, highly recommend it. So out of this week that we're doing this push to lose some weight, I would do 1 day of intermittent fasting, taking a break of at least 18 hours in between a meal. And you won't melt. It's okay. You'll be okay. You really will. I mean, the first time I did, I was like, oh my goodness, this is interesting. And then the more I did it, I did a couple days in a row. I'm like, this really feels good. And as far as, strengthening your waist or whittling that down, that is exactly where it's going to come from, because the intermittent fasting gets at your visceral fat. Okay. And the visceral fat's the dangerous fat that hides around our heart and our liver and our intestines. It's the hard fat. Like if you see a man, and I'm not just picking on men, but men carry the fat in the belly more so. We women carry it in our arms, hips, and legs, right? All over the place. But all of that fat, if you've got like one of those bellies you can just bounce a quarter off of, that is visceral fat. So getting to the source and getting that out is going to go a long way to helping your body be super, super healthy. So pick one of those intermittent fasting days. You can do a 9-day intermittent, fast, body, toxin, anything along those lines, but give your body a break so it can burn some more fat. I want to talk about water. Most people say they don't like water. They don't want to drink water. There's a lot of crappy water out there. I'm at my house in Naples in the Finger Lakes, and I don't think the water supply is real good here. I wouldn't drink it here without a filter because I can taste it, and it puts a film on my shower and in my dishwasher, and this tells me that film is going in my body as well too. But water is the carrier. 70% of our body is water, right? So why not feed that to the brain, to our cells? A lot of times when we think we're hungry, we're actually just thirsty. So when you're hungry, drink some water. Drink 8 or 10 ounces. Now, the idea is, you've heard this before, whatever you weigh, divide it in 2, and that's how many ounces you need. So if you're a 200-pound person, 100 ounces a day. 150-pound person, 75 ounces a day. Now, if you're doing a lot of, say, aerobic type activity and maybe some spin classes, or it's super hot where you are, like where you're really perspiring, you actually, need more. Sometimes we think we have a backache, and our back is bothering us. It's really just a lack of water. You'd be surprised. Sometimes the back of your neck may bother you, and that's related to the liver in the Chinese constitution. And if you just drink some water, if you drank too much, the water can be helpful to you kind of dilute that. A friend of mine, Deb, she was in my class many years ago, and we were talking about the liver, being, how you can feel it in the back of the neck. And she was on the thruway, and she had to stop at Burger King because up here in New York, we still don't have great options on the thruway. And she goes, "Oh, I thought that was just a stupid Burger King headache." Well, it was. It was the chemicals and the garbage that was in the Burger King that was manifesting in her neck. So that was the stupid Burger King headache. So the water is also going to help you to burn more calories. It actually increases your metabolic rate and can even spike your metabolic rate up to 30%. So think of all the good that it does for you. I would get a filter. Sometimes I have good ones that I've invested in over the years. Right now, I just have like a Brita type. I mean, you can get better ones, and I probably need to invest in one as well too. You want to not drink. I think I already said this. Make sure don't drink your water with your meals. Drink it in between. I drink water first thing in the morning. A little bit of warm water, room temperature, with a little bit of lemon in. Okay, and this helps to detoxify the body, cleanse, and it helps to wake up the body. You could Google this, the benefits of lemon water, and it's just amazing. Also, having lemon water throughout the day is a good thing to do, but again, not the icy cold water, more like a room temperature, kind of a thing. Water also helps your cells to keep firing, so it helps your metabolic rate along, with the cell communication. It helps for brain, helps for focus and concentration. Sometimes late in the afternoon, you might be like, ugh, especially, I don't mean to say if you're in office, but maybe if you're at an office or job you don't like, or you're taxed because you're working on your website and you're feeling intense and tired and just all scattered. Water is going to help to settle that a little bit. It also is a carrier, so it helps to carry the garbage out of your body. Just think about it. You're bringing in all these cells that are toxic, in your body from the overload, and then there's no water for them to get out. It's like throwing all your garbage in the garage and you never open up the door on garbage day, right? The stuff sits in your body, sits in your colon, sits in your liver, sits in your cells. When you detox your cells, then you're detoxing your organs and your tissues and your systems and your whole body. And this can go in a series, okay? It doesn't have to go all at once. I recommend starting with a 1 to 2 week cleanse. Maybe you do a parasite cleanse someday. Maybe you do a candida cleanse. I'm going to do a heavy metal cleanse because it's been a while, and I got a mouthful of mercury from, bad teeth habits back when, I was a child. So those are different types of cleanses we can do. But if you think about it, if you just continue to remove the bad and put in the good, you will eventually build a better body. It's just the way the physiology works. We grow new skin on the palm of our hands every single day. You grow a new spine every 8 to 10 months. You grow a new liver every 8 to 10 months. And so our body's constantly turning over. And if you and I are sitting here a year from now, you will be a different person and I will be a different person. So right now, you are either regenerating, you're getting stronger, healthier, you're taking charge of your life, and you're growing younger, okay? Now you can regenerate at 60, 70, and 80. These studies are all proven. You can do this. And then your body, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're degenerating, okay? So pick your choice. You want to degenerate or you want to regenerate, okay? Degeneration basically means you're giving no attention. You're just letting the body do what it wants to do, and then just say, oh crap, I've got high blood pressure, and oh crap, I have high cholesterol, and oh crap, I gained 20 pounds, whatever that is. Well, that's an inactive, non-engaged person who is just thinking things are happening to them. And that's where we'll talk a little bit about discipline in a little while rather. So if you want to be healthy, you have to take responsibility for yourself. And again, this doesn't mean you don't see a doctor and you don't get your blood tests. I always get my OBGYN. I had some ovarian cancer back. Well, it didn't really quite turn into cancer. It happened when I was pregnant, and I was told if I had a regular birth, my first was a cesarean, that it would go away, and it actually did. I still don't understand it, but good news all around, right? So lots of water. And then the last thing, not the last, or one of the second last thing, is to strengthen your core, okay? Especially when it comes to the waist. The anatomy is more like you've got your abdominals, right? People will call it their stomach, but the stomach's an organ, and then your abdominals are your muscles, okay? If you want to get a 6-pack or 9-pack, very elusive, right? But you have 2 muscles in the upper, where, your upper abdominals, middle, lower, and then on each side, you have these inner and you have these outer obliques. You can see this if you see a person who's athletic, who's doing bodybuilding, basketball players, just people that are runners, that are kind of, lean, and they've got that, very low body fat, and that's attractive. But if you build up that core, even if you've got, fat on, it's going to help strengthen your back. It's going to help your posture, all right? And I see so many people, that are just, I used to tell my kids, don't sit like a C, but that's something to work on. Yoga will help with that, and strengthening your core will too. And that also helps with your confidence, and they say, you're going to just, feel a lot better. So I'm a big proponent of doing some planks, and we do them a lot in yoga, and my core has gotten so strong, and due to yoga, and then I did some intermittent fasting, I lost 2 inches off my waist last month, and I like that. I'm like, yay, I'm kind of curvy to begin with, so getting, some more waist curves is nice. But a plank is basically, and you can look this up online, I'm not going to demonstrate because you couldn't see me, but it's basically, where you are laying, prone, and you are on your toes. There's a correct way to do it. You're leaning forward, and you're just kind of balancing. You're breathing constantly, breathing through the nose. Maybe you're listening to music and that makes it goes faster. Maybe you're, fantasizing about, some beach in the Palms that you want to go visit. But if you get in the habit of doing this, even if you start out with doing it for 10 seconds, your abs will get stronger, your core will get stronger, your waist will get thinner, and you will have a lot more confidence in the way that your clothes fit. And sometimes it's not the scale, sometimes it's the way that you feel, right? The 7th thing that I recommend is doing some kind of thyroid stimulator, like we talked about yesterday or the day before, because most people, over 50 million people, have a sluggish thyroid, all right? You're probably one of them, and I am too. And the thyroid is the gland that controls your metabolism. So things like seaweed, kelp. I take spirulina myself, and algae. I've been taking that for probably about 25 years. Kelp is another very good, simple herb that will help to stimulate the thyroid. There's thyroid combinations, like there's thyroid supports, thyroid activators. I also take another metabolic activator. And I don't talk about the specific products that I use or do. If you want to know, I'm happy to share what I do. Just send me a message. I get back to everybody. That's fine. I just don't want to do like some infomercial. Okay. So yeah, but if you're over 30, you probably need a little bit of something. And that's even if your tests show that you're normal. And again, if you want to learn more about thyroid, you can watch what I did yesterday. And then one of the last things that you can do to make sure that you're successful is to weigh yourself every day. Okay. And that's my opinion. I know a lot of people, say, hey, Sandy, hey, Charlie, and Mary Rose, nice to see you. There's a lot of schools of thought on weight loss, hundreds of them, right? Hundreds of schools of thought. And some people say, oh, you shouldn't weigh yourself, you'll get bummed out. I'm like, well, I'd rather get bummed out and know the truth than get back on the scales 2 weeks later and have gained 3 pounds instead of the 1. But that's not just my opinion. They did some studies, I forget where it was a while ago. I think it was in the University of Michigan, and they found that people that weighed themselves every day during this 12-week period or 6-week period of time, lost 12 pounds, okay? Those that weighed themselves every couple days, lost, 6 pounds. And those that didn't weigh themselves at all, really didn't lose much more than a pound or so. And so part of the discipline and the reality is kind of knowing where you stand. I mean, I've done classes before, like kind of person-to-person classes, and nobody really likes getting on a scale. I don't like it either. I used to have a client, when she'd go to the doctor, she'd turn around on the scales, because the docs get up on the scale, the nurses get up on the scale. She puts her back there and go ahead and write it down. I just didn't want to know. And I get that, because sometimes we just don't want to know because we're not in the mood to take action. And I can be just as guilty of that as, as an ex-person. But when you get started and you start getting those hits like, oh, I lost 2 pounds. And I mean, now they've got really cool body fat scales that measures your body fat. So maybe you're not losing the pounds, but you've lost 2 or 3% of body fat, which is really even more important. So I'm very big on that. And I can't tell you how to develop discipline. That's probably the last thing, but I firmly believe that, we are a nation. And again, I don't want to offend anyone, but I do believe that we are undisciplined. As many of you know, I travel all over the world. I've been to 25 countries in the last 10 years. You've been in, especially the Asian countries, the Vietnam and Thailand and Laos and, even in Sri Lanka. I mean, there's just such a different discipline. We were hiking in South Korea, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, and hiking's a national pastime there. And Mark and I we're in good shape. We're good hikers, and this is 6 miles straight up, so it's a pretty intense hike. People are passing us left and right. I mean, I'm talking people 10 years older than us. We even had a nun in a full habit pass us on this crazy hill, and we went out and did it again. But on the way, they're sharing their food, and they've got tomatoes, and they're eating cucumbers. They're not having a Snickers bar, and then when they got done, they had this beautiful, Korean feast, which the Koreans are known for, and they invited us to join us, which was very, very nice. And so it's a whole different, lifestyle, and there is more discipline, in some of the Asian cultures. This is just, my opinion. I said yesterday, Japan has an obesity rate of 3%, and I said North Korea. I don't know anything about North Korea. South Korea is, more like 5% versus here in America, we're 70%. So I had some of my friends over, Casey and Cher were over, today, and we were talking about how they're making furniture bigger, right? So, Casey was saying that she saw some Adirondack chairs and says it holds up to 400 pounds. It's like, wow, when did this happen? When did this become the norm? I was in Dick's Sporting Good, and it was the same thing. Everything is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so we were kind of just discussing that. And it's an interesting conversation to have. But I just want to share my information with you. That is my objective. I'm here to help you in any way. You can private message me. I'm happy to help and spew off some questions. I mean, obviously, if you want a full consultation, I can set that up too. But a lot of times it's just a few tweaks here and there. And if you listen to these videos, you're going to learn, an awful lot. So does anyone have any questions? I appreciate y'all being here today. If you like what you see, if you could put some likes on here. Again, I say that most every class. I just like people to know if there's something you learned today. If you could put that down, or a new habit that you learned, or something that you felt, would be beneficial. I'd appreciate any feedback that you would have. Okay. So that's all for today. Now tomorrow, sorry, I don't have my book right in front of me. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, cholesterol. Okay, cholesterol, heart, blood pressure, all of those good things about the heart we'll be talking tomorrow. And Friday will be particularly exciting because we're going to talk about women's health and sexuality, and how to, have a different type of a libido, how to, take care of our health in all aspects of women's health. I'm going to do a men's health next week. So men, I think it's important you listen for your women, and women, important to listen, for your men. We're going to learn a lot, no matter what. So have yourself a fabulous day. Okay. I appreciate you all. And thanks so much. Oh, thank you, Angela. Angela's one of my students, and she's a real, really desired, wonderful student, desired children. So thank you so much. And Terry, nice to see you. And Aranda, nice to see you as well. Have yourself a fabulous day, and go make something happen. You deserve it. Bye now.